It's a new show. It's a new day. It's a new year. It's the same guys. Happy New Year to you, and welcome to the first edition for 2024 of Litter Media Live. I'm Dan Ramey. He's Mike Smith. Aaron Glandon is running the controls for us today.
And we want to welcome you back.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Although you weren't supposed to come back sick.
No, well, I a little under the weather thanks to doing some. See, here's the difficult thing.
You actually did some work.
Yeah. Physical labor outdoors does this to you.
Yeah.
And so I got it in the, so everybody's been going through it. You've all had your head colds and everything so far this year, so it's my turn. So here we are. But it's not as bad as it has been. Man.
That's good.
Yeah, towards the end of the football season, I think I had a little something.
Mm-hmm. You did.
But it's not been like that. It has not been like that. All right. Enough of what's going on there. We've got much to share with you today. We've got news. We've got sports. Do we want to talk about the Buckeyes?
No. It's been too many days. I'm starting to heal now. I don't want to open an old wound again, yeah. Now, if you want to talk about the Browns, which are farther away, I'll be happy to talk about that.
I did see a one-frame cartoon that basically it had said, what happened to the Buckeyes? And basically it was, I'm trying to remember what it was exactly. Oh, it was the devil was looking at a newspaper and everything was frozen. And it says, the Browns are in the playoffs, and it says, yes, but it cost you the Buckeyes.
And it did freeze
That was
over.
the expense to get the Browns into the playoffs. So, all right. So all that and more coming up. Today is our revolutionary moment, but you say this is an actual this date in history.
Yeah, it happened on this day.
Revolutionary moment. So we'll share that with you coming up in just a bit as well. Let's take a look at what's happening with our forecast and what to prepare for with the weather.
Although a little cloudy to start out today, we are expecting some partly sunny skies each day today, and everybody thinks it's Monday today. Actually, it's Tuesday because yesterday was a holiday, and that'll be the case through Thursday. Highs today and tomorrow around 41, 35 on Thursday, and they're talking about a snow-sleet mix on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And some parts of the state, which may be Columbus and north, maybe some accumulating snow.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're spending the first week of the new year trying to remember that it's 2024 and that today is Tuesday, not Monday.
That's correct.
So
a double whammy.
It's going to happen all week long for you. All right, coming up in a moment, we'll get you caught up to date with what's happening with news. But first, let's tell you about Scioto Valley Dumpsters. They've got the color of the year.
Orange.
It's Brown's orange. And so if you are looking for a dumpster, you've got one place to call, and that's Scioto Valley Dumpsters. 740-253-8389 is the number. And they'll bring a dumpster to you wherever you need it, if it's at your residence or your business. And once you place it there, you fill it up, and then they will haul everything away. You want to find out more? Give Carl a call at 740-253-8389. Tell them Dan and Mike sent you.
It's the details that make the difference between good enough and simply the best. At Skag Power Equipment, the difference is in designing lawnmowers with your convenience and comfort in mind. At Skag, we believe that quality and substance matter, and that you'll appreciate the attention to detail and craftsmanship we put into every single product. Thick steel and heavy-duty components provide you with unmatched reliability and performance. Skag, simply the best.
Archway of Opportunities is a scholarship program. It can include the crew members and it can include managers. The scholarship is $2,500 for crew members and it's $3,000 for managers. For my store alone, we've had $35,000 go out just in 1 year. And for all 7 of our stores, we had $66,000 in scholarship funds.
Worth it if you enjoy it. Michelob Ultra.
If you go to our website, littermedia.com, that's where you'll find some of the news stories we're going to talk with you about. Of course, you want to search through our social media as well, here on Facebook as well as Litter X. And technically it should be Litter Media X, I guess, because it's just Litter Twitter sounded so good back when it was Twitter.
Not applicable anymore.
So
until he changes it back.
Yeah.
But I've even heard some of the national news saying X, formerly Twitter.
Yeah. The social media account formerly known as
Twitter.
Yes. At any rate, find all that information there, but we're going to tell you about it right now. So we're going to start off with a canine who has retired.
Yeah, you saw this over the weekend, a retirement in the Piketon Police Department.
Yes, Canine Lana, several years, I think almost 6 years, maybe 7 years, service to the Piketon area, as well as I'm sure they got involved with Pike County Sheriff's Department too. So thank you, Canine Lana, who has had some physical difficulties, and this is how it goes when we get older. We all kind of not put out to pasture, but given that opportunity to finish out your days, just sitting back, twiddling your paws, I guess, in this instance.
Yeah.
But thank you to Canine Lana for your service to the Piketon community.
We're going to stay in Pike County for this next story. The Pike County Land Reutilization Corporation, also known as Land Bank, has 6 properties for sale. Now, the Pike County Land Bank will be accepting sealed bids for these properties until 3 p.m. Friday, January the 19th. If you want to find out what the address is for each one of those properties and how much acreage is involved, you can go to our website story at littermedia.com. It's got all that information for each of those 6 sites. January 15th is full for dogs and female cats at Fairfield County Humane Society's Rascal Unit Clinic. Now, spots are still available for male cats. Also, spots are quickly filling for their January 22nd clinic. Spots are available for their January 15th and 22nd spay and neuter clinics with the Rascal Unit. Now, to reserve a spot, stop into the shelter over there in Lancaster and prepay with cash or card during business hours, which are Monday, Wednesday, Fridays from 11 to 7, Tuesday and Saturday 11 to 3, and always remember that Thursday and Sunday they are closed. 2024 will be the 40th anniversary of the Lancaster Festival, which will be held on the dates of July 18th through the 27th. No announcement's been made yet on the headline entertainment. You might remember last year that was made, I believe, either in February or March. And, of course, Sheryl Crow was one of the big name entertainments this past summer. Big Brothers Big Sisters of South Central Ohio Dance for Kids' Sake recap video produced by Logan Deddy has been released. You can see a little bit of that video there. We had also a story about a week ago, which was a 2023 recap of all of the money that was brought in for each one of the mentoring programs that Big Brothers Big Sisters did, which included Dance for Kids' Sake. But this recap video, I think I even saw Dan Ramey in it.
Yeah, I saw it earlier this morning, and I'm watching through some of it now. I think the only part that that you really can tell who I am is real short, but we had these money shooters, you know, the dollar shooter things, and so we were shooting those out. It got to be confusing because people started putting money out there.
Oh.
So then we had the fake money with the real $100 bills, and it's like, okay, we got to look through all these. So it was kind of crazy for a moment. But
I always wanted that to happen when I was playing Monopoly, where real dollars would be laid down, but never happened. So check out that, and tip of the cap to our buddy Logan Deddy for putting that video together. The state of Ohio features a diverse landscape with rolling hills, winding streams, and a great lake. And for 75 years, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources has been charged with protection and conservation of that landscape. Well, this year, 2024, is the 75th anniversary of the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. If you go to our website story at littermedia.com, within that story, there is a video link that shows some of the state's picturesque locations. So check that out along with some other photos and informations about many of the parks, which include a few right here in our backyard.
That makes sense now that yesterday on my Facebook birthdays, you always get those send someone a birthday greeting, that Pike Lake State Park was having its 75th birthday yesterday.
Yeah. So that's a long time. I'm not there yet. Getting closer all the time.
Knocking on the door.
75 years of protecting our parks and improving them as they go. And that's a look at the topic, sports, coming up.
All right. In sports, we're going to talk about college football. We'll touch on that. We'll touch on the pros as well and the cons. We'll find some cons to talk about, too, I'm sure. That's all just ahead. And our revolutionary moment for today coming up at the end of the program here. All right. First, let's talk about Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. They have been taking care of all of that for nearly 5 decades now. So if you've got it's too hot in your house and you need to be cooler, or if it's too cold and it needs to be hotter, or if it's too wet and it needs to be drier, make sure you reach out to Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. If you click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com, it will take you right to their website to learn more about the services of Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
At Rathkamp Financial, we act as your advocate in all wealth matters. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust with our customized investment solutions. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652.
Time for sports and the high schoolers getting back into it today.
Yeah, after a couple of days off. They didn't take many days off during the holiday break. In fact, today, while it's a back-to-work day for most people, a lot of the students are not back in school today, and that is why, if you look at our score page there at littermedia.com, Chillicothe is taking on Maumee Valley at a classic at Harvest Prep, and they're playing right now. They tipped off just about 12 minutes ago. All of the other games that are on our score page are later tonight. That includes Gallia Academy at Courthouse, Fairfield at Paint Valley, Peebles at Piketon, and more. There's even some girls basketball. Circleville Lady Tigers, they're still undefeated. Some of the unbeatens that we had in our area went down for the first time over the holiday break, but Circleville girls are still unbeaten. Speaking of some local talent that are now in college, Chillicothe High School grad Javon Moffmer scored a career-high 33 points to lead Cedarville's Yellow Jackets to an 83-78 win over Lake Erie on Saturday. Congratulations to Javon on that big day on the court. Also, Zane Trace grad Cam Evans was named All-Tournament in Otterbeins' winning of the Smoky Ballinger Holiday Classic. He scored 20 points in their 74-71 championship win over 23rd nationally ranked and previously unbeaten Illinois College, 74-71.
So cool to watch these guys in high school, and they had great talent on the high school floor, but the maturity over the next 3 to 4 years, it's a different level.
Yeah,
when they're playing at the you look at Otterbein and you say, okay, yeah, it's not NCAA Division I, that kind of thing. But these guys, they can play.
They can play.
They can flat out play. So just picture what Cam was like in high school and then multiplying by like 3.
Yeah. And over his college career, which this is his senior year, he's had several game-winning shots.
Yeah.
And we've highlighted many of them on this program. So
Mr.
congratulations. Clutch. Also, we want to send out our continued prayers for a buddy of ours, Ben Ackley, the head boys basketball coach at Miami Trace, and had been the girls coach for a number of years. In fact, took them to a couple of state Final Four. If you have not heard, over the holiday break, Ben suffered a heart attack after one of their games. At last check, he was recovering. I think he was still in the hospital at last check, but we want to wish our best to Coach Ben Ackley.
And he spent that time here in Chillicothe at Nina Regionals. So good to see that he's still on the mend. I like hearing that. But you know as well as I do what coaches put their bodies through, and they think more about their program and everything and forget to take care of themselves too. So
a lot of stress. So, yes. Ben, we wish you well and praying for a speedy recovery.
And they picked up a win over London the next night, or I guess it would be 2 nights later, for that holiday tournament they have over there in Washington Courthouse. So,
and going into the break, they handed Washington Courthouse their first loss of the season.
Yeah.
So Miami Trace is on a roll right now. If you've ever been to Lancaster High School for a sporting event over the last 3 decades, you probably have seen this lady at some time or another. After 30 years of serving as the administrative assistant to 3 different athletic directors at Lancaster High School, Audrey Lee retired, and this picture is showing her walking out of Lancaster's gym for the last time. Thanks, Audrey, for all the years you've shown and love for our student athletes at Lancaster. Just a reminder that longtime AD Pam Bosser, who was also a former assistant, she's still on the job. Pam, she was a delight to always visit with whenever we were going in there to do a game.
Now this probably isn't the last time she'll go through this door.
Probably not, yeah.
But probably the last time as a paid employee.
As a paid employee. Now, she'll be back, I'm sure of that. But, Audrey, enjoy retirement. New Year's Bowl games yesterday. Of course, there were more than just the national semifinals, but those are the ones that caught most of our attention and, frankly, were the best games of the day. Of course, Michigan, yes, I'm going to put that M at the front. They deserve it. An overtime win over Alabama, 27-20. I turned away at halftime, and I didn't get back to it right away. When I tuned back in, they were behind, and I thought, well, this is the way it usually goes. But give them a lot of credit. They scored late in regulation and then won it in overtime. And then the nightcap, Washington holds off Texas 37-31. So the national final between the Huskies and the Wolverines is a week from last night.
Correct, this coming Monday.
And playing in Houston.
Did you watch the end of the Washington-Texas game?
I did not. I fell asleep.
It came down to the last second. There was one last opportunity for them to throw. It was crazy. Here, Washington had the football. All they had to do was run the clock down, and the running back came up lame on a 3rd down, so that stopped the clock. Yeah. And they put 3 more seconds on the clock, so now there's 50 seconds left, and Washington's punting to Texas. Texas gets the ball, and then they have 2 quick incompletions. Oh, I forgot to mention this. On the punt, the return man gets interfered with, so so Washington is ready to punt. They have a illegal procedure that moves it back 5 yards, and then they have the personal foul on the return, so that gives Texas the ball at like their own 30-yard line. And then when they finally connect on a couple of plays, they're within striking distance now. They're inside the 15-yard line, ready to score. And so the pass was knocked away by the Huskies defender, and it was pretty exciting to see the end of that contest.
You know, it didn't hit me until they were talking about Penix of Washington, their quarterback.
That he was in Indiana?
I remember when he played against Ohio State, and he was killing the Buckeyes that day, and something happened. He got hurt or whatever and had to come out of the game, which could have probably avoided an upset, but he switched schools, was a Heisman candidate, and now he's got his team in the national championship.
And I said this a few weeks ago. I don't know what kind of a pro quarterback he might be one day, because he just has this awkward stance and look at –
almost like he's short-arming when he throws.
Almost like he's not doing a follow-through. Yeah. And so – now it's working for him.
Now Patrick Mahomes has kind of an unusual delivery.
He does.
They always said Bernie Kosar did, and they did okay.
Yeah, they did all right. They really did. Yeah.
One pro team that we're going to talk about right now is the Bengals. They were eliminated from playoff contention over the weekend to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, 25-17.
many people who watch this know that I'm not a Bengals fan, but Jake Browning really did a nice job, I thought, coming in. The defense has played pretty well for the Bengals this year. And I know going into this weekend, I'd love to see the Browns just keep on going and doing what they do. However, I just don't think they're going to have all cylinders going against them because they're resting everyone now that they're into the playoffs. Had that Baltimore-Miami game gone differently, and there would have been something at stake, an opportunity to go from the number 5 seeds and the number 1 seed, that would have made a big difference, I think.
Yeah, of course, the Browns and Bengals, that's who the regular season wraps up with this weekend. Right. And it was announced last night that the Browns are going to sit out Joe Flacco just to rest him up. Remember, this guy is 38. You know, he's not a spring chicken anymore.
And we do know that they're going to play the AFC North winner. So that's going to be either Jacksonville, Indianapolis, or Houston. Now, they have defeated all 3 of those teams this year.
Right.
However, if they are the winner, they'll have to play at their location again. And so they played Houston at Houston. They played Indianapolis in Indianapolis, but they hosted Jacksonville.
Correct. With Trevor Lawrence, yeah. So we'll see how it all plays out after the regular season. Have all the other divisions been clinched in the NFL?
No. The NFC, I think there's one up for grabs. I can't remember which one it is.
It's not the Lions or Cowboys. Of course, the Cowboys beat the Lions over the holidays. Yeah. So that was one. The one that they were hyping, Miami and Baltimore, that turned into be like,
and it was like
that, lopsided.
It was like that the week before with Baltimore and San Francisco.
Baltimore's on a roll. Yeah. Like to stay away from them as long as we can. NBA action last night. The Cleveland Cavaliers back in play. They lost to the Toronto Raptors 124 to 121. I think when Aaron and I were talking the other day about the Celtics having the best record, I think when I checked at that time, the Cavs were 17-13, so they're still above 500, which puts them in the playoff contention in the NBA.
You could be under 500.
Yeah. I think what do they take? The top 8.
It's the same in the NHL.
Yeah. So the Jackets were off. They play against Boston tonight. So I've tried to lay low on the Jackets because I seem to curse them every time. So
you almost forgot them the other day, didn't you?
Well, deliberately. But I think the one that we did bring up, because they won.
Yeah.
We talked about them, and that didn't go well, but we didn't talk about them, and they did win. So we want to give them a shout-out when they do well. And that is a look at sports. Be sure to keep checking our littermedia.com score page each night, as well as Litter X, for any updates throughout the night. Even though we've got all the finals there, we put it on Litter X. But if you want to get them all together, check the scoreboard. That's sports.
Revolutionary. The moment from this date in history, coming up right after these words from our sponsors.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Each week, Litter Media presents the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week. If you have an athlete to nominate, any amateur athlete is eligible. Simply visit littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. At the end of the year, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Make your nominations now at littermedia.com. Click on Player of the Week.
Our financial lives have never been more complex, and some decisions just can't wait. Which is why our K&B Mobility app gives you instant access to the financial tools you need wherever you are. Get a clear picture of all of your accounts, check your daily transactions, receive account alerts, and much more. So no matter where you are or what you are doing, you can make the best decisions for you and your financial goals. Download our Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
This date in history, our revolutionary moment. Thank you to the,
Not today.
Not today?
Yeah.
Normally, the Nathaniel Massey chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution provide this information for us, but Mike Smith has actually done some work on this.
I vetoed this one. LaVersa did send us one. We'll use that in the future, but because I'd already picked this one out, and it's actually this date, we're going to go with it.
So we're going to use some history in the future.
That's correct.
All right.
Yeah. 1776. Now, there's some bits of this that's actually kind of interesting. I think
why shouldn't we be?
I think history is interesting, but there's some caveats to some of this. 1776, the Continental Congress publishes what is known as the Tory Act resolution, which describes how colonies should handle those Americans who remain loyal to the British and King George. Now, your mind starts racing. Okay, well, they hang them, they tar and feather them. Well, the act called on colonial committees to indoctrinate those, quote, honest and well-meaning but uninformed people, unquote.
Mm-hmm. So there was some patriotic evangelism going on.
That's what came to my mind. By enlightening them as to the origin, nature, and extent of the present controversy, the Congress remained fully persuaded that the more our right to the enjoyment of our ancient liberties and privileges is examined, the more just and necessary our present opposition to ministerial tyranny will appear. Now, can you imagine?
Love the loyalist, not the loyalee.
Yeah. What would happen today if anything by our government would even be suggested? We would have every civil rights lawsuit coming down. But those honest and well-meaning but uninformed people.
You know, it's incredible. This has been 200 plus years now. But they came to an area that needed to have some legislation, needed to have some governance done. And you look at the framework they laid out for the Constitution, and I know we've talked about it in years past, but to see that document today and how they thought to put it together all those years ago, how it is provided for this country the way that it has as a stable foundation, why you'd want to toy with it, I don't know.
Yeah. But as if you studied your civics, you know that the Founding Fathers did develop a way to amend that Constitution. And one of the things that I've heard out of the Daughters of the American Revolution, what they have talked about with some of the historical things, is, number one, know your history. Don't go on what you think or somebody misinformed you on, is why that jumps out at me. Because just like in church, sometimes there are things that are passed down to us, and when you get to reading, it's like, that's not what that says. Mm-hmm. So everybody's got an interpretation of something, and oftentimes in our system of government, the judiciary is supposed to interpret the Constitution but not make law. Right. That's what the Founding Fathers said, but there's a big argument about sometimes the bench does that, and they shouldn't. So, folks, when we started doing this day in history, the idea wasn't to tell you the whole story. It's to maybe whet your appetite enough that maybe you do some digging on your own and find out about our great heritage.
Our version of Schoolhouse Rock.
Absolutely. I'm not singing
without the singing and dancing. Sometimes we have to do a song and dance on certain things.
That's for sure.
We're not going to do that today. So, all right. So 2024 is up and running. Now it's a matter of what's going to happen next. What sort of things you want to see happen. Mm-hmm. In the immediate thing, we've got new people taking new offices. Were sworn in before last weekend, but they are now officially on the job, and we wish them well in what they will be doing.
Yeah, and pray for our government leaders. They certainly need that guidance from above. And as Dan said, there was some things on social media about some of the mayor-elects being sworn in. One of them, our guest, Circleville's new mayor, sworn in. Of course, Mayor Feeney, who was reelected, has been sworn in. So keep those folks in mind, because I know they would appreciate some higher guidance.
I don't know if this is her first official act, but Michelle Blanton was part of the dropping of the pumpkin.
I saw that
on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
So she doesn't literally take office until 12 midnight, but she pushed the button to make this happen before the countdown.
That wouldn't be an impeachable offense.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that minutia?
I don't know. Yeah. Hopefully that's the least controversial thing that Michelle has to deal with.
Precisely. And there's, 4 new council persons here in Chillicothe, and I'm sure there's similar circumstances across the state. Well, new Lancaster mayor. New leadership there. So our thoughts are certainly with all of those making decisions now, and we'll see how things go. All right. That's it for the program today. Special editions will probably happen this week. Of course, we're on that holiday schedule, so we'll see what we can do about making sure we have guests. Otherwise, we do know that we'll be here tomorrow with another edition of Litter Media Live. For Aaron Glandon in his golden shoes and Mike Smith, I'm Dan Ramey. Thanks for watching Litter Media Live.